Hello, hello. Happy Monday. Margie's first again. You're always first in my book, Margie. Do I see Rick Rack? You're probably looking at this. No, it's just a chevron. It's actually burlap paper on the other side. And it's just a chevron print. I did not use any Rick Rack. So, how you doing, Margie? Hi, Glennis. Welcome. Happy to see you. Hey, Jen. So nice that you have a day off and can join us on Monday Jumpstart. Or at least join us in actually chatting, not having to be in a meeting or keep quiet. That is kind of fun. Welcome to Happy Paper People. I am Marianne with Happy Paper People. If you're watching on the replay, we would like to invite you to join us in our Happy Paper People Facebook group. It is a wonderful group of artists and crafters, a safe place to learn, to grow, to try new things. And we all try new things and experiment with new things and put them out there on the table for everybody to see, because it is a safe place. We help and teach and learn from each other. And so it's just a great place to be. So if you are not already a part of Happy Paper People Facebook group, please join us there. Eyes are bad. Well, it does look like Rick Rack. I mean, isn't chevron the exact same thing as Rick Rack? But, you know, it's Rick Rack already built into the paper. That's all. So I decided not to go early 5 minutes early today because my notes show that every time we've done that, the same couple of people are here, and most of the people don't show up until 12 o'clock anyway, 12 o'clock Mountain Time, every Monday at 12 o'clock Mountain Time for Monday Jumpstart. Thank you, Margie, for getting us off to a great start there. I certainly appreciate you and your support of Happy Paper People. That is so much appreciated. Thank you. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. Today we are looking at the tab binding. I love the way when you grab the book and you kind of spread it open. Hi, Sada Rosario is here. That's how I can keep track of Sada and Sarah. Good to see you. I love the way it kind of makes it a little design and spreads open like that. So the tab binding is fun. It is super easy to do, but looks really hard to do. So I'm going to show you 3 different books that have been put together with the tab binding, and then we're going to actually do it. Really easy to do. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat this morning. If you would like to make yourself a sample so that you can remember how to do it later, just grab some pieces of paper and some washi tape. That's what this one is. So it's just pieces of paper and washi tape. And I used 2 different washi tapes so that I could remember exactly where and how it's supposed to go. And then you can kind of keep this as your template. So that would be a real easy thing to do. Frog legs for lunch. Yes. And they're stuck. Froggy went a-courting. Oh, man. So if you want to grab some cardstock is best and some washi tape. 2 different kinds of washi tape will help you if you want to keep it as a template. And we'll make a template there. So let's take a look at this one first. This is a little bit bigger book, a normal size book that we would do. The cover is just a burlap paper, so it's paper on the back. However, I have covered that paper with some gel prints back there and some other paper that I had. I actually challenged myself to make both of these books this past week with only what was on my desk and what's in my scrap bag that's under my desk. So I literally used scraps and just stuff that's piled on my desk and made these. This pocket is acetate, and I cut a thumb notch in it so it'd be easy. I could stick a couple of really large journal cards in there, which would be really nice. Hi, Leah. Hi, Christina. You've never seen a live on YouTube? I am so excited. So excited that you're here for the first time. That's awesome. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Judy. Yes, thank you, Margie, for remembering. Please click the like button. Welcome, everyone. Christina, if you've never seen a live, you may not be familiar with the Happy Paper People Facebook group, or you might already be in the Facebook group and just never had a chance to see a live. Today is a holiday. It's a national holiday. So a lot of people that are typically working have the day off, and that's kind of nice because you do get to see a live now and then. Okay, so you can see the tabs. Why do they call it tab binding? Somebody asks. Because you're using little tabs. Tabs of paper, tabs of fabric, tabs of ribbon, whatever it is. I'm going to show you how to do it. You're using tabs to make your binding. That's all it is. Now you'll notice in this one that not all the pieces of paper are the same size. They do not have to be the same size in order to make this work. They don't even have to be the same type of paper. This is why I specifically did this one. Actually, this is handmade cotton paper. This is out of a 6x6 paper pack. This is burlap paper. This one is actually fabric. It's a very heavy canvas, probably for outdoor furniture or boating would be my guess there. I'm not going to take out everything that's in here to show you everything, but you know that it's all full of stuff. Most of the things that I decorated this with are things that we have made. Love these cute little pockets here. Most of them are things that we have made on Monday Jump Starts and learned to make in Happy Paper People. So this is just a piece of a watercolor paper, something that I would just an exercise that I was doing. So you can use fabric, you can use paper, you can use whatever you want. Just punch some holes down there and took some sari silk and wound the sari silk through it. Looks cool, feels cool, matches things really nicely. It actually goes really nicely with this fabric here. This was a pocket. That's just sari silk. There was already 3 holes punched in that, so just wound some sari silk through it. And that's the back, piece of watercolor paper that I had done there. So you can see the tabs. You can see the tabs right here. You can see the tabs right here. And you can see how the tabs go kind of like every other page. So I'm going to show you how to do that one. Now, here is a journal with tab binding that is made out of file folders. These are all mini file folders. They're this size, just mini file folders. So as we go through, and I won't pull everything out of this one either, but there's stuff in all of these. As we go through here, there will be a couple things that I'll show you that you can see. Well, maybe you can't see. This one, I glued the file folder together on the sides so I could put a couple things in and pull them out this way. And then the next one, next page, I glued up this side so I could put something in this way and pull it up out of the top. The next one, I glued only the bottom, clipped it right here with a teeny tiny clip, and there's a large card that comes out of that one. So you can see with a file folder, you can do a number of things. There's 3 ways right there that you could manage those file folders. This one is, again, a side one, coin envelope with a card inside of it. This one, card there. Just took some stamps with numbers and stamped them out and cut them and put them on here. This one is a flip out, like this little clock paper clip. And this one again is a side. And I left the last one. This is the back side of this one. And the last file folder, I left it to show you that this is what the file folder looks like when you put it together, so you can choose how you want to close it. You could also choose to leave it open and decorate all four sides. So I had done some inking with stencils on the inside of all of the file folders because I wasn't sure if I was going to close them up or leave them open. And you can see on the tabs, you can see the inking if they're open on the side, or partly you can see the inking there. So you could leave them open and just have many more surfaces to play with, to decorate. So how do we make it? So I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to make one with the file folders to show you how we do that, because they open. And then I'm going to make one with mixed media paper. So let's start with the mixed media paper because it's a little bit bigger, and so it'll be a little bit easier, I think, to see and maybe to follow. And then we'll do the second one because there are slight variations. So I have this twill tape, binding tape kind of thing. It's just a cotton twill. And I think I'll use this. And on the other one, we'll use this fabric, which is what I used on the two that I showed you. So you can use fabric, you can use ribbon, you can use a binding tape, you can use washi tape. The only reason I don't use sari silk is quite often the sari silk is not going to be sturdy enough. And it's going to, if I can grab it with my hands and tear it like that, break it like that, probably not sturdy enough to rely on it as a binding. So these two are different widths, just a little bit. And so I grabbed both of them to see which width I wanted. So I've got these in the order that I want them. And I'm going to bring out the first 2 pages, but we're really going to focus on the first 1 page. And the reason I decided to use the twill tape, I love the idea too, Margie, is because this is mixed media paper, which means I'm going to do stuff on it. And so if I spray it or watercolor or whatever I do on the mixed media paper, then this white was white, it's kind of dirty. Twill tape will also absorb that color. And it can be really cool how I'll end up with the tape being part of the art, or the binding tabs being part of the art of the mixed media book. So this is actually a fairly big page. I want to say it's probably about 8 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's exactly 8 inches high. And it is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches wide. So about 8 by 6 are the pages that I'm working with here. And so if I look at the twill tape, I want to look at, how wide it is. This would not be really feasible to use on these little file folders because it's too wide. I need to be able to get 5 of these on a page. Okay. So really, I don't want it right up against the very edge. So I want some space before the first one. And so we'll just do this. And they can be as wide as you want, actually. As long as you want. So it can go as far into or onto the book as you want it to. This may be farther than some people would do it. Maybe you only want it to be, you could go half this far. It depends on whether you want to make the tabs part of a focal point or what. So I am going to cut these at about 1.5 inches, I think, That should give us plenty. Let's see. I'll cut one at about 1.5 inches and see. Yeah, that gives us plenty to have half on one and half on the other. That's plenty. Could go a little longer if you want them to be longer. Okay, so if I cut them at about 1.5 inches, and I don't usually even worry about measuring them, I usually just kind of do this. You can measure them all if you want, but I'm going to grab 5 because I know we need to have space for 5. So 1, 2, 3. And if you want to get those spaced right, you know, with 5, you're going to need 1 right in the middle, right? And 2 on each side of it. And I'm going to need, so I want 1 on the end, and I don't want it to touch the very end. 1 in the middle, and then 1 in between each of those. Okay, so there is enough room to use this wider twill tape. If I thought that there's really not enough room there, then I would go to the little bit thinner one, because that's just going to give us, you know, even a 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch on every single tab. That ends up being the space of a whole tab. Hi, Christy. It is a fabric tape. Yeah, it is a cotton fabric. It kind of has a, see if it'll focus on that. I don't know if it'll pick it up, but it kind of has a herringbone pattern in it, just called twill tape. It's heavy. It's pretty thick. You could use any of the binding tapes, seam binding, those kinds of things, a bias tape, any of those would work. This is actually heavier. This twill tape is actually heavier than your seam binding, your bias tape, your, you know, hemming, the hem tape. What do they call that one? Or is that the same? It's a little heavier than those. But if I have a mixed media book, I don't know what I'm going to do in it. And so I like the idea of the twill tape because it is a little heavier, being able to handle whatever I might put on this. All right, so you notice on the front cover, the first one, we can see 3. So we always have 5 tabs total, but we're going to alter them. 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. Okay, so I'm going to take out those 2, and we're going to go, there's our 3. And then we know that there's space. We have to make sure before we glue them on that we have enough space for the other 2 and that they're spaced how we want them. Okay, so if this is our cover, if I had these already stacked how I wanted them, I believe that they were like this. And so this one is our cover. Then I am going to glue them on the outside of the cover. This is the inside page. I'll be turning these pages over one by one. I'm going to glue them on the outside of the page. Once you get started, it's really easy because the pattern just follows itself. So, but you know, you need to see them out here and they need to be on the outside to hold things in. So we're going to glue these on the outside. So I filled up my bottle of art glitter glue this morning and my Barely Art glue, and the large bottle that I filled it from was getting a little bit thick. So I added just a little bit of really hot water to it, hoping to thin it out a bit. So I'm really hoping that this isn't just totally watery, which it almost appears to be. I'm putting glue on half of it because we know half of it is going to go on this cover page, and then half of it will go on the page that it attaches to, right? So I'm going to, because it's the cover, drip and glue, so it is watered down. Because it's the cover, I'm going to hold it like this, and I know that the first 2 are going to be top and bottom. I want some space in there. I don't want them to be right on the edge, but they can be close. And I'm gluing about half of the twill tape or the ribbon. I mean, you can literally use anything here. Typically, I use pieces of fabric, and then this one should go right in the middle, leaving enough room in between them for the other two, the next two to go. So I typically cut pieces of fabric, and that's what I will do on the next one that I show you. So I'll show you how to, cut the fabric there. And we can make a sample like this one where you use pieces of washi. And that's the one I have just always kept in my thing as a template. Okay, let me give that a second. Let me grab a baby white. It is a little runnier than I expected, but, give it a day or two. It'll thicken up again. Staple it. You could staple it. You could staple it. That would work too. All right. Let's set that to the side somewhere over there. Let me just check the mic here so I don't set that on the mic. Perfect. It's on the right one. Okay. Hi, Sarah. Good to see you. Yes, your fabric scraps are perfect, Christy. This is absolutely the thing for fabric scraps. So on the next one that I do, I will show you how to do it with fabric scraps. Okay, so this is our cover piece. Trying to give it an extra minute to dry because I know it was extra wet, but I think it's fine. All right, so if I've got a stack here of papers in the order that I want them in. Now, remember that you can use all different kinds of papers. They don't even have to be the same size. Different types. This is handmade cotton, and then you've got fabric. You can put anything in you want as your pages. You could do a whole book of fabric pages. The thing to remember when you are first getting your 5 pieces in order is you have to go to your smallest page. So I've got this 6x6 in here, and if I'm going to have 5 tabs, I have to make sure that they fit on the 6x6. If I space them out for these larger pages, then I put in this 6x6, they're not going to fit. So you have to space them for your smallest page that's going to be in the book. Hi, Diane. So I put the smallest one next to one of these to figure out where to put those 3 tabs, and there's room for the other 2 in between. So there's a lot more space here, you can see on that one, than the one we're doing right now, because these pages are all the same size. They don't have to be. Okay, so on my first page, I put 3 tabs. I'm going to turn it over and set it there. On my second page, I'm going to put 2 tabs. This page, I have a little flip out. I don't want to glue that flip out down, so I'm just going to open it up while I put these down. All right, so I'm going to put glue on half of them, half of each of them. Boy, that's runny. Okay, now want to make sure that I put these in the right place. So if I put this up next to this, they need to be in between, right? So I'm just going to use this as a gauge for where my tab is going to go. It's going to go right in between. Okay, is that where I like it? Sure, doesn't have to be perfect, as long as it's in between. Yep, that's what I get for watering my glue this morning. Hi, Carrie. Okay, so this one is my second page, and now I'm going to flip this one over. Okay, when I flip this one over, I'm now going to attach the 3 from the first page to the second page, like this. Once you see the pattern, it's really quite easy. So let's do this. Put some glue on this one. only on the 3, not on the 2 that you just put on. Okay, I just put 2 on here. Do not put glue on these. I'm gluing now the first page to the second page. So I'm going to put those where they go in the middle. I'm just going to line the 2 pages up because they're the same size. I want them to be lined up right. And then I'm going to fold over the tab and glue that down. A lot of extra glue coming out. That's so runny. Mixed media paper, it can handle it. Okay, so now I've got the first 2 pages glued together with a tab, and I've got 2 tabs sticking out. So I did 3 on the first page, I did 2 on the second page. Now the third page comes up, and I'm going to do 3 again. I'm going to do 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. And so, like I said, once you see the pattern, it's really quite simple. So I need to just cut a bunch more tabs. And as you see, the tabs don't need to be very big. If you want them to go way into your book, you can. You can make them as long as you want, but they don't need to be long. Just they only have to be enough to wrap around the next page. Okay, that's enough to get us going here. Okay, so I need 3. And so I'm going to line this up. And I would like for these 3 to be in the same place that these 3 are. There's 1, there's 2, and there's 3. Okay, so I would like for them to be in the same place. So I am going to just put a little bit of glue on this one, on half of it. Try to kind of keep them in alignment so I can try to keep these kind of, and they don't need to be perfect. You know, it's art. Nobody's looking for perfection. Okay, the center one. Never water down our glitter glue. I added a little bit of hot water to it because my large bottle was getting a little thick as I was trying to refill this one. All that was in the large bottle was just enough to refill this one. And it was getting so thick that it was kind of plopping out. And I thought, yeah, that's not very good. So I got really hot water and just put a little bit of hot water in it and shook it up and, watered it down a bit. And it's working just fine. It's just that it's a little bit runnier. So I don't need to put as much on because it's spreading farther. Okay, so now I put the 3 tabs on this page and then I flip it over and I can lay these tabs right on top of the other tabs, line up my pages, and now I'm going to attach the 2, not the 3 that I just glued on, but the 2. 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2. So there's the 2. Okay. All right, so I've got 3 here. So the next page coming up is going to have the 2 again. And this one has a little flip up instead of a flip out. And here is 2. And if I bring it over here, I can put them same place the other one is. You see how once you get the pattern down, you can just fly through this super quick. Doesn't take long to put one together. So you always want to think about what you're using as your tabs in relation to what your pages are. If you are going to use some heavy duty canvas as the pages, because you can do fabric pages, paper pages, literally anything pages. Okay, then flip this one over. And now we want to fold over the 3 that are already there. So line up my pages. and put the 3 that are there. So if I'm using a heavy duty substrate as my pages, I want something that can handle the heavy duty and is not going to tear or fall apart as the binding. So something like this twill tape would be great. But as I mentioned, I typically use fabric scraps. Any fabric scraps are great. The ones I have today are from those sample packs that they have for upholstery and drapery and things like that. Okay, need a few more. So that we have 2 here. So now we need to put 3 on this one. So you're just gluing down 2, then 3, then 2, then 3, then 2, then 3, then 2. And you just keep doing that. You can do as few or as many pages as you want also. I mean, you could just continue going. You could just do 2 or 3 pages. That is completely up to you. So if you have a lightweight paper that you're using, then you could use washi tape, and you wouldn't want to decorate it really heavily because that would put a lot of weight on the washi tape, which could tear fairly easily. Turn this upside down and it just kind of runs out. I did the same thing with the Barely Art glue because I was refilling that as well, and it was very thick. Okay, so that was 3 that I just put down. So now I'm going to glue the 2 middle ones. So 1, 2. Okay, is it making sense? Less is more when it comes to water. Fly through quick. Let's see. Where's this rose? If it freezes, yes, that's true. I like them both. Everybody has their favorites, and you know what? I honestly think that they're different in every climate, and I think that they react differently based on what you're using, and I think it's okay that there's so many different types of glues so that we can all use what we like. Just like everything else, they don't all have to be the same. We don't all have to like the same. Okay, so getting a few extra cut here. All right, so we've got 3 sticking out. That means we need to put 2. I'm going to open this so we don't accidentally glue that down. We'll do 2 on here. We'll line these up, kind of, sort of. So I can line that up with the one that's already there. And if they're not perfectly lined up, again, it doesn't matter. It's okay. Going to decorate the book. And yeah, by tomorrow it'll all be thickened up again and be just fine. But today, it's a little runny. Oh, grab one of those. Okay. Got that right in line. Yeah, I do like the idea of the twill tape or a white lace or a white ribbon or a white binding tape. If you want to do something like with mixed media where you might paint or spray, watercolor, things like that. Okay, so now I'm going to flip this one over. Line up my pages. And I just put 2 on. So that means I'm going to flip over and glue 3. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, just think about what you're using as a substrate for your pages. And so what kind of weight of item you might use for your binding, whether it could be a lace or a ribbon or something, or whether it needs to be something heavier duty like fabric. Fabric comes in all different kinds of weights too. And if you, like me, have lots of fabric squares, This is a great way to use them up. If you have more fabric squares than you have ribbon, I would just use up the fabric squares on something like this. They're perfect. You can do multicolored. You can do, make them all the same fabric. I don't always use the same. In fact, quite often I will do 3 of the same, and then the next 2 are different. Then the next 3 might be the same as the first 3. They might be 3 different. But it is a great way to use up fabric scraps. A lot of people will do it with paper scraps. And if you're doing it with paper, I just suggest that it's either on a paper book, so your pages are paper, so that they're not super heavy, the same weight as your scraps, or you can double up the paper. You can double it up, make it double thick, just so it's extra strong. Okay, I just put down 3. That means I'm going to glue the 2. And on top of that, I filled it right to the top, like the very top, because that was all that was left in that bottle. I didn't want to just leave a tiny bit in there, so I didn't. Okay, we are coming to the end. This is the last page. This is the last page, and so I don't need to put tabs on this one because there will be nothing to attach them to. So the last page, I just flip over here, line it up, page right where it needs to be, and then glue the last 3 tabs on the last page. See how simple that was? I mean, it takes a minute to do it, but it's simple. Once you understand the 3, 2, 3, 2 and how to put them on, it's not difficult. It's not a difficult one to do. It looks difficult when you first see it, trying to figure out how to do it. Okay, hopefully they have all had time to attach, being watered down glue. All right, so there is our tab binding book. So if I go to, I love when you can pull this open and whoops, give the last one time to dry. I love that you can pull this one open though and get that design. Isn't that cool? And think if you had all different colors of fabric scraps, how cool that would look. I have a ton of 2-inch ribbon. Should I just cut it in half? Not sure about the fraying. The fraying I don't think it'll fray because you're going to glue it down, and the gluing it down is going to keep it from fraying. And I wouldn't cut it in half until you go to use it, because if you do something large, you might be able to use a thicker piece. Well, 2-inch, so I guess and half would be 1 inch, which is probably about right. So this is 1 inch twill tape here, which is perfect for this. Now, if I'm using the file folders, 1 inch is obviously too wide because I don't have 5 inches really to work with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do have 5 inches because they are 6 inches. That just doesn't leave very much space between them. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So then I just have to think about, do I want all of those? How many did I put in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's a nice size in a little book with lots of stuff to do and to decorate. You can decide how many you want to put on there. They don't even have to be matching paper. The ones in the first one I showed you are. These are not. These 3 are. Those 2 are. This one isn't. And they don't have to be matching paper. If you're going to decorate them and cover them and put other stuff down, then they don't have to be matching paper. I think I might leave that one off and just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6. Yeah, there's 4 there. 4, 5, 6. Okay. one of these, I had already, this one, I had already put some coffee dyed paper in here as a notepad, and a pocket over here. So this one, for sure, I will leave open to use and decorate all four sides. And then you can decide whether you want to. Those have something on both sides. These don't. So, do I want to stencil them? Do I not? So let's go ahead and do this one so you can see how to do the tab binding with file folder. So each file folder is treated like one page. So I have these scraps of fabric here, and I'm just going to decide what to bind them with. Probably doesn't even matter because I'm probably going to cover them up anyway, That's kind of a loose weave, although it looks really cool. But this should be just about, do I want to do two different ones or all the same one? I don't know. We'll figure that out. All right. So this one is kind of the right size. I even use the part that has the paper on it. Doesn't matter. In fact, the glue attaches to the paper, dries quicker than the fabric. So I first need to look at this and say, how wide do I want my tab to be? If, let's see, there was a couple extras of these. These are 1 inch. And if I had 2, 3, 4, just putting a small space between them, there's just barely not enough room for 5 there. So I want them to be less than 1 inch, a little bit less than 1 inch, maybe 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. That's wider. I'm going to start with this. So if this is 1 inch, and I can just kind of use that as my gauge, then I want it to be a little bit less. I'm going to go like that and just cut a strip. I'm going to cut a couple of strips. So I have some ready to go. So, you can use large tags as your pages. That makes a really cool book. You could also use, I'm just going to see if I can get 4 out of that. Nope. But I think I can get 3 out of that easily. Yep. Okay. I can do 3. I think that's long enough. You can use all kinds of things as a substrate. I think I mentioned that you can do all fabric, make fabric pages. How fun would that be? This would be a super cute, making a quiet book for a grandkid and doing that with the fabric pages and tab binding out of fabric. The giant playing cards, or even the mid-size playing card, even small ones would make cute teeny tiny books. The little teeny tiny ones, but the normal size playing cards make a nice sized book that holds in your hand. Literally anything, everything could be used as a page. So I'm just going to cut these 3 strips. I don't know how many of these we'll need, but this will get us started. And then I think I'm going to do an opposite color on the others so that you'll be able to see the difference in the tabs. Okay, so let's use this one. Ooh, this one is pretty, isn't it? Now let's just use this one. It's probably going to end up covered up anyway. All right. So I've got a bunch of fraying on the end, so I'm taking that into account. I could cut it off. It depends on how well it's doing when I go to put it down. This one looks like it probably frays pretty easily. And let's make several strips. Oop, that one got a little thin right there, not very even. See if I can even that out a bit, just so the next one is more even. You can lay these down and measure them and cut them perfectly if you want. Something like this, actually, if you figure out how many of these little squares, you know, and you could just follow that line and cut that. You don't even have to, you know, measure it because you're cutting it perfectly every time, following the line. So let's start with that. All right, so we're going to make 3 tabs out of each of these. Hey, DM. Good to see you. Jacob's Ladder Journal. Yeah. Nothing is perfect. We don't care, right? Okay, so we've got these and we've got these. All right. So let's take our file folders. And if they're going to show, you know, you can put them in the order that you want. If you know you're going to end up covering them up and it doesn't really matter, maybe you want to organize the tabs. These tabs are all over the place. They aren't really, there isn't a, you know, top, middle, bottom, top, middle, bottom. They're just are what they are. So, so I'll take the first one. And the first one, remember, we always do 3 tabs. So there's 1, 2, 3. Now I just need to make sure all my file folders are the same size. I just need to make sure that I have room for the other 2 in there. They're pretty darn close together. So I could choose to cut them a little bit thinner, a little more narrow. I got the hiccups. I think I'll, I don't know, I'll put these on and see. Maybe we'll make those a little more narrow, but maybe we'll just leave them as they are. There's 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so if this is my first page, remember we're going to treat each file folder as a page. Okay, and so we don't want to open it up and start attaching to the inside or anything. So each file folder, hold it together, is treated as one page. So there's my first page. Flip it over. Here's my second page. Whoops, I did. Good thing about fabric is you've got a little bit of wiggle room on being able to move it around, get it where you want it. If you look at it and you go, oh, that's not leaving enough room in between or centered or whatever it is. Let's see if some of these are a little thinner. Let's go that one and that one. Okay. So these 2 should go right in the middle of the 3. Wow! Runny glue, runny glue. Let's see if we can use that glue. That might even be enough to hold it down. Okay, so I put those together just so I can make sure that those fit in. Okay, so this is my second page. Whole thing up together, flip it over, put it on the first page, and we're going to, now you can see the difference in the fabric, and we're going to flip over the tabs from the first. This one looks a little bit wonky, and it's fabric, so I still have time to move it around. There we go. 1, 2, and 3. And you can pick that up and make sure that those are all straight and how you like them. Make sure they're all down. Okay, so we've got 2. So our next one, we're going to do 3. 1, 2, and 3. So is it starting to make sense? I know some of you have done it before, so it already made sense. Those who have never done it before, is it making sense? Do you have any specific questions? Margie. Imodium. Yeah. Water it down with Imodium. Let's see. Let's get down that one down a little bit. Yeah, I'll hope by tomorrow it'll be a little bit thicker. It always thickens up with time. So, okay, take your entire file folder, flip it over, treat it as one page. And now we're going to fold over the 2 from the previous one. There is 1 and 2. This fabric's going to need an extra few seconds to attach. Toilet humor. I've seen this technique many times, but somehow I've never made one. Yes, you do. And you can make a teeny tiny one. You can make a teeny tiny one and just make thinner strips. All you need is room for 5. So you just take whatever room you have and space it accordingly. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. We have 3 there, so we're doing 2 here. See, you can always catch yourself. If there's already 3 there, this is why you lay it next to that one. If there's already 3 there, we only need 2 on this one. So I just flipped over 2 and glued them down. So in my mind, I was thinking the 3. But that is not so. All right, there's 1. Glued down the wrong side, didn't I? Yep, I had it right the first time. Thought it was inside out or upside down. Doesn't even matter if I did, because it'll probably end up covered. Kind of like the back side, actually. She's dripping glue everywhere. Yay for baby wipes. It's got glue on top now. Okay, so we'll pick this one up. Queso. Cheese for lunch. Pick this one up, lay it on top, and we're going to glue the 3 below it. And you can make this any style. You could make it with lace and make it a very fancy or Victorian or, elegant or very feminine. Here we go. You could cut up some old jeans and make it very outdoorsy, or you could even make it masculine with the jeans. A lot of fabric is good for the masculine anyway, but with the jeans, it's, like a picnic, an outdoor flower. You guys all made a jeans quilt when you were teenagers, right? Needs more than baby wipes, need Pampers. Yes, it would have to be teeny tiny, and that would be awesome. All right, we have 2 here, so this time we need 3. Let's Let's not grab that one. Don't forget to post your pictures in the Facebook group when you do make your tab binding journal. You could post it that you made the base and then post it again after you decorate it all. All righty. These guys all in order. Flip it over. And we'll glue the two. Once you figure out this pattern, it's really not difficult to do. It just looks difficult. But that's kind of cool. Looks like you did something extremely difficult. That is not as easy to figure out just by looking at it. Some blue leather left from bookbinding. Oh, that would be pretty too. Yeah, pieces of leather. Some are thinner or more pliable than others. We recently got rid of a leather sofa that was breaking down. And so before we did, Doug helped me cut off all of the large pieces of leather from the back, the side, the seats. I've got quite a bit of leather off of that couch, and it's nice, thin, pliable leather. So that would be great for something like this. Make leather strips. All right, I don't need 3 more. This is the last one. Remember, on the last one, you do not have to add any more because there's nothing else to attach to it. You just flip the last one over and glue. Oh, now it's volcanoing on itself. I filled it too full, I'm sure. So I figured I need to use a bunch of it today. Okay, that's the last file folder page. Carrie, Doug is in Colorado right now. All right, let's get some of that extra glue off. Okay, so there is our file folder. You could cut all these things off and make it nice and neat if you want. You can leave them hanging out. Do that however you like. So we treated each file folder as a page of its own. Yeah, and all the extra glue now sticking together. Whoops. There. There. And there. And the last one. There we go. So again, you can go through and you can glue these on the 2 ends and have a pocket on the side. You could glue these 2 and have a pocket down the top. You can leave them open and do decorate all 4 sides. But that's how you do that. So if you have, let's see, we've got this one here. If you have just pieces of paper, pieces of cardstock, take some of your scrap cardstock that's left. Oh, I am so sorry. Just smacked the camera. Take some of your scrap pieces of cardstock and some old washi. And I did the 3 on one type of washi, and I did the 2 with a completely different, this is just gold glitter, so that I could definitely see the difference, and that would remind me how the 3-2 goes as you go through here. And then just stick this in with your templates, hang on to it, so if you don't do it for a while, you'll remember how to do it. Ta-da! Hey, Jersey Gypsy. Welcome, welcome. Wonder if tiny hinges would work. Oh, that would be cute too, wouldn't it? Would be great for making ephemera holders. Yeah, you know what? These file folders, That's a good idea, Jen. The file folders would be good ephemera holders. If each file folder, and you could even use large file folders, or a little bit larger than this. These are 6-inch. You could cut them maybe 8-inch, so they would hold a little bit more. Just 8-inch. That would only be to here, but that would give you substantially more room. And to close up just the two ends, and stick ephemera in there. Maybe I might even cut down the front so that it's not as high as the back, giving me a little bit easier time to get in there. Or you could open this up and do something like this acetate pocket. You can't see the glue on the acetate pocket, can you? Glued down really nicely. Barely art. Barely art glue is what I use for acetate, and it disappears completely when it dries. It's awesome. But you could put an acetate pocket that opens from this side or this side, and you could actually get 4 of those on each file folder. You could label the file folder as to what kind of ephemera is in each one. That's a great idea, Jen. That is a great idea. Jersey Gypsy, Doobie, so glad that you're here. Are you already in the Happy Paper People Facebook group? And there was a couple other new people today. If you're not, please join us in the Happy Paper People Facebook group. It is a wonderful place to meet some new friends and get to know lots of other artists, crafters. You're all artists. Some of you think of yourself as crafters, but and I say that so that you'll know everyone is included. It's a safe place. It is a private group so that it can be a safe place for everyone to post, to share ideas, to get suggestions and help. And it is a very motivating and uplifting group where we help one another, never anything negative. So let's see here. If I missed any, wonder if this would work with folded pages. Yes, Carrie, you could fold pages like they were the file folders. In fact, I think you might have come in right after I started this one. This is mixed media paper. And so this one I folded to have a flip out there. And every other one is one page. And then this one is flip up. And then regular. And then a flip out. And then a regular. And then a flip up. So this one is larger. This one is 8 inches. This, I think, would be a great size for ephemera holder. And I wouldn't even mind using the mixed media paper for that because it is a little heavier and sturdier. And this twill is kind of like canvas. And so it's really going to hold up. But you could put pockets. You could put 2 pockets for tiny ephemera. You could put 1 larger pocket, and you could add tabs on them to label what's in there. Yeah, I have a Sizzix and a file folder design. Awesome, Christina. I have the file folder punch board, and that's how I made these. I think we did a Monday Jumpstart showing how to make them without, if you don't have any of those things. But if you've got the file folder die, one of them, there's a number of them out there, or if you've got the punch board, super quick and easy to make. And I love these little file folders. They're just so fun to use for all kinds of things. So on something like this, I would have put this in here, stuffed some things in here, and then just stuck this in a pocket or a tuck spot in a journal. And just added that to a journal. So, okay, I might have to try it. Carrie, you got to do it. Carrie, you got to do it. Even put pictures of your templates in there. If you guys make a template, put that in there and then get to work on something that you could really enjoy and really, really play with there. So thank you all for joining me today on Monday Jumpstart. I always love seeing you on Monday Jumpstart. Cardstock, yes, absolutely. Cardstock would work. That's all the file folders are, is cardstock. This, my template, has held up for a long time, and it's just cardstock. These file folders also are cardstock. They're actually out of the same batch as this. You can't tell what color they are anymore because they're pretty much covered up, but they are of the same. I cut them at the same time, so they're all even. It's the last one that I left open, so you could see that you could do it that way or close it up any different way. Same type of cardstock. Yeah, definitely. Now where's my huge bag of scraps when I want it? Yeah. Cardstock would work as the tabs. Yeah. And, if you don't have a tab punch, all you need to do is punch out a circle and fold it in half. It makes a great tab. Or fold out a square, or punch out a square, or cut a square and fold it in half. It makes a great tab. Round the corners if you want. Anything will make a tab. Look at your punches, see what designs you have. Anything that you can fold in half will make a pretty tab. So yeah. Tabs for the little connectors. Yes, cardstock will work as the tabs for the binding. Just be careful of what you're going to use it for and what you're using as a substrate for the pages as to whether the cardstock is strong enough or will tear. Also, this cardstock has kind of a glossy side and a not glossy side. So I wouldn't cut this one and use this one as tabs, only because I've noticed that when I fold it, it has a tendency to crack a little bit more. Even if I wet it down, it cracks just a little bit more. And I would want a more pliable. In fact, what would be great as tabs is this handmade cotton paper. This stuff would be great as tabs. It is so strong, would work great. Hi, Toby. Another type of petable journal. Yes. Yes. So yeah, anything that is strong, that's going to be flexible to bend and bend over and over and over again, because it's going to get bent a whole bunch of times, makes a great tab there. Okay. Any other questions before we close this out? Speaking of petable journals, Mar, did you get the little mini one I sent you? Oh, Marianne, that was quite a while ago. I think that was before Christmas, before Thanksgiving, quite a while ago, I think. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. I always look forward to Monday Jumpstart. It's one of my favorite days of the week, and spending some time with you guys. And have the rest of a great day. It is so cold out there, a lot of places. So be sure to stay warm. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you all really soon. Bye-bye.